Good morning. Today's date is September 16th, 2025, and the Louisiana Committee on Parole is impaneled at headquarters in Baton Rouge. Today, serving on the panel to my left is Chuck Tillis, to my right, Carolyn Stapleton. I'm Jerry Ledoux. We are seeing an offender at Ascension Parish Jail, but before we do that, we're going to have our staff introduce themselves.
Jason, Sherelle Mayburn, Carl Williams, Whitney Trostware.
Is there anyone there at Ascension that can identify themselves as being on staff?
Yes, ma'am. Corporal McGowan. I don't know if you can see me.
Thank you very much, Corporal. Okay, now I'd like for the offender to please state your name and your DOC number for the record.
Craig Herbert. I don't know my DOC. I don't know my DOC number.
Okay, let's see. Just a minute. So tell me, what is your date of birth?
9/9/1990.
And do you know, let's see, the last four digits of your social?
7767.
Okay, so your DOC number is 726788. Okay, Mr. Hebert, what's going to happen today is we're going to be reading some allegations against you and getting your plea of guilty or not guilty. Do you see a parole revocation questionnaire in front of you? Has he been shown that document? We can put it on the screen if necessary. Sir, look at this. Do you recognize your signature on this questionnaire?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that indicates that you're not eligible for appointed counsel. Have you hired an attorney?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we'll proceed. We're going to ask Mr. Tillis to read out your allegations, and then you're going to give him a plea of guilty, not guilty, or guilty with the statement. Mr. Tillis?
Good morning, Mr. Herbert.
Good morning.
You violated rule number 4. You were alleged to have been involved in criminal activities as evident by your arrest on 7/24/2025, where you were charged with the offense of domestic abuse battery, aggravated battery, and domestic abuse battery strangulation. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or guilty with a statement?
Not guilty.
Not guilty. Okay. You violated number 10. You're currently in the following area. Process fees of $65. What is that? Sex text fees of $165 and supervision fees of $1,005. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or guilty with a statement?
Not guilty.
Okay. I'm handling your case, so let's talk about number 4. Tell me what happened. You say you're not guilty of these charges.
It was a misunderstanding. I didn't hit her or strangle her or any of those things. I just restrained her, just was restraining her from hitting me, and it just got blown way out of proportion. I'm sure y'all hear it all the time, but I really did not do this. Like, I'm not,
Your girlfriend or just someone, a friend,
yeah, a long time girlfriend.
longtime girlfriend, and you didn't violate any of these charges.
No, sir.
Okay, and what about number 10?
I was actively paying them when I was working and paying my fees. I don't know how it got to be, that high, but I was still paying them every month.
Supervision fees of $1,005.
I was paying it monthly.
Okay, Jerry, are you gonna have the?
Aye.
Okay.
Well, at this time, we probably would like to hear from Mr. Devin McGrew, who is the supervising agent. Mr. McGrew, are you with us today? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
I noted in your notes that Mr. Herbert had been sanctioned twice already during this period of supervision. You want to tell us a little bit about this?
Yes, ma'am. The original one was a failure to report for intake warrant. That was handled. He called, he rescheduled an appointment. There was a confusion in that. So that wasn't a major sanction. That was something that we handled quickly and easily. Excuse me. And then there was a misdemeanor arrest in August of last year for a failure to appear.
So can you enlighten us about what you know about the current situation?
The current case is currently being handled by the 23rd Judicial District. As of this morning, the latest update we have is that he is set for arraignment on those charges, and that the district attorney's office says that there's no intention to drop those charges at this time.
Thank you. We appreciate you being with us and providing that information. Anything
ma'am.
else you'd like to add?
No, ma'am. I'm simply here if y'all have any questions for me.
Okay, thank you.
I was just reading that, they found that probable cause existed, for violation of condition 4 and 10. And then they do have pictures. They have pictures of you too, sir. But they have pictures of her that is, stating that, backing up what she states happened to her. And then, of course, the DA is going forward with the charges.
Mr. You have any other questions? Or?
From what I was told, that she had tried to drop the charges, that she had dropped some of the charges, or the charges was dropped.
Well, the law is that only the state can drop the charges. So if they find enough evidence, they can choose not to allow her to drop the charge. She may have tried, but the state brings the charges in domestic violence cases. Just like just like when you rob a bank, the bank can't drop the charges. The state brings the charges, or a car wreck, stuff like that. There's certain things that the state brings the charges. And domestic violence is one of them, because it's very common for a victim to be fearful, or for a lot of other reasons, to want to drop charges. And so long, some years back, it was changed so that the victim does not bring the charges, therefore they cannot drop the charges if the DA does not agree.
So, Mr. Tillis, do you have any other questions?
No, I have no more questions.
Is the panel prepared to vote? Yes.
I am, yes.
Okay, Mr. Tillis will be voting first.
My vote today is to revoke due to violation 4 and the evidence that we have.
Stapleton.
I concur, Mr. Tillis.
And my vote is also to revoke your parole. So today you have been revoked. Thank you very much. It's now 8:57 and we'll be signing off at Ascension Parish. Thank you, staff, for assisting us.
Yes, ma'am.
So I mean, even if I get the charges dropped, my
They got us in a breakout room, that's why.
Good. Okay, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sir, for the record, would you please state your name and your DOC number?
Robert Earl Lewis, 98335.
Mr. Lewis, you're before this panel because it has been alleged that you violated the conditions of your parole. Do you have a revocation questionnaire in front of you that indicates some?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the answers to that questionnaire indicate that you are not eligible for retained counsel, appointed counsel. Have you hired an attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And where's your attorney today?
We didn't know we was having no parole board hearing today. Nobody told us nothing about this.
Let me look. I think you may have signed. Andy. Let me go into executive session so that we can, could you call roll, please?
Present?
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Okay, we're gonna look for that paperwork. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And, why they got these hip charges? This shit happened 30 years ago.
Sharing the book on sheet, anything been booked on possible. This is on. That's be fine.
We can know the change is when they ask us to get the parole notification. That's that one where they send you that long drawn out thing, and there's like few pages that are exactly the same. One says parole, patrol. That's our notification. Usually when they do that, they haven't signed this. That's all I was looking for.
Mr. Lewis, you were aware that you were coming today for a revocation hearing. You were notified by the parole agent.
Are they on mute?
You
Tell them
need to
that.
sit back. You may be on mute. I can't hear you. Okay, I know you have a trial 10/25 of this year. You're going to trial for these charges. You have an attorney for that trial. But do you have an attorney for this revocation hearing specifically?
Ma'am, I have one lawyer, and that my lawyer is to represent me wherever I needed her to represent me in. If I need, I would like to have my attorney here if it's possible, but, you know,
Okay. So we can continue this hearing and make sure that your attorney is here. But you do have a trial coming up 10/25. So, panel, would you like to vote? Mr. Tillett, you vote first.
Is it to continue? Okay.
Yes,
You want to continue?
I'll vote on continuing.
Section.
I agree, based upon the statements of the offender, I vote to continue.
If you wish to have your retained counsel, then I will vote to continue this hearing until you have your attorney present. So today, we're continuing this hearing.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. This is the Louisiana Committee on Parole. On my left is Mr. Tillis. To my right is Ms. Stapleton and Ms. Ledoux. I see you have an officer in the room. Could you please identify yourself, sir, for the record?
Yes, sir. Sorry, apologies. Yes, ma'am. I'm Agent Cairns with Probation Parole with the Covington District Office. I've been monitoring Mr. White's case as he's been incarcerated.
Okay, great. We will hear from you very shortly. Sir, would you please, if you'll sit back so I can see you more clearly, we can hear fine. Could you please state your name and your DOC number?
My name is Arthur White. DOC is 363408.
Okay. Mr. White, you're before this panel for allegations of violating conditions of your parole. Do you have a parole revocation questionnaire in front of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, your signature on that document indicates that you are not eligible for appointed counsel. Okay, have you hired an attorney?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. White, I'm going to read the allegations against you, and you are going to answer with a plea of guilty, not guilty, or guilty with a statement. So on condition number 2, indicates that you have not submitted any monthly supervision reports during this period of supervision. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
Allegation 4, you committed the offense of aggravated rape as evidenced by your arrest, as well as a jury trial that will take place on December 1st, 2025.
Not guilty. I do have a jury trial coming up.
You do.
Yes, ma'am. I do have a jury trial coming up.
Number 10, you're currently $167 in arrears on supervision fees.
Not guilty.
And 13, as you had a special condition placed upon you that you were to attend 2 AA/NA meetings per week, and you have failed to provide verification of your attendance.
Not guilty.
Okay. So why are we here then? Tell me why you're not guilty to any of these.
Well, all of those stipulations, first of all, were during COVID. I've been incarcerated since 2021. The arrear, I think I know I lost my job before I was incarcerated, but I went back to my old job, my previous job, which is Blue Harbor Car Wash in Mandeville. And my parole officer was notified, my current parole officer, that I had started over working again. And at the time, first of all, I did make my payments. I made all of my payments. And according to that stipulation is saying that I didn't make any payments. And that's why my parole had not been violated, most definitely.
It didn't say that you, wait, let me be clear, it didn't say that you didn't take any payments. It says on the payment part, it's $167 in arrears. I'm not concerned about that, but
Okay.
you did not file monthly reports. That's a different thing.
What's a monthly report as far as visiting my parole, having a visit with my parole officer?
Yes,
Yes.
and providing verification and all of the other details.
Okay, I switched parole officers. First of all, ma'am, I left from under tangible holds jurisdiction and ended up under St. Tammany's jurisdiction. It was clarified when I eventually found out who my parole officer was in St. Tammany. And I think Mr. Millen let me know that I've had about 3 or 4 changes of parole officers since.
Yeah, but can I note you're a 4th class offender. This is not your first time on supervision.
Yes,
And the
ma'am.
rules of supervision have not changed.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the number of parole officers is immaterial because you know the rules. You signed them. You've been on supervision before.
No, I'm meaning since I've been incarcerated. I've been incarcerated since 2021. And I think Mr. McMillan said that I've had about 4 parole officer changes that I didn't know about since I've been incarcerated. But my first one being James Swallow, which was upon my release. I made every visit with Mr. James Swallow under COVID conditions. They had all my contact information. I worked at Blue Harbor Car Wash up until the time that I left Blue Harbor, which was maybe around August of 2021, when I started back working. And I think, if I'm not correct, how much is $167 in arrear? How many months of non-payment? Is that like 2 months?
1 month.
One,
Now, if Mr. Maximilian is with us today, so I'm going to ask him to make some statements regarding the supervision.
yes, ma'am.
All right. So unfortunately, there's not a lot I can provide. I've been supervising him since he's been incarcerated for the violation, so I don't have a lot to update, but I did attempt to contact the previous 2 agents. One works at our office, one is out of district. There were no narratives of the loss of employment, the contact reports are reporting in. There's just no evidence of there being an attempt in our records. It could be an officer error, but I don't have anything to back up either side, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. We do have the police report of the current charges, pending charges. They have not been dismissed. They are going to court. It will be a jury trial. And so the evidence.
I have one charge.
That's right.
Yes, ma'am.
And that charge is aggravated rape.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we have all of the information from the police report, and that provides me with enough evidence to make the decision that I need to make today.
Before you make your decision, may I say something, please?
You may.
First of all, my arrest was at my place of residence, which was shared with the homeowner, which is 230 Richland Drive East. I never left 230 Richland Drive East. That was from the time I left Tangible Ho's jurisdiction, that was my place of residence all the way up to my time of arrest. I made, far as every appointed visit that I know about with my parole officer, that was one time I was on a photo shoot in Venice, Louisiana, that my parole officer called me and we did our visit over the phone. Every visit that we had, every visit that me and my parole officer had was FaceTime. The reason they never came to my home, most definitely, is because I hadn't did anything that would render a violation. I had I saw psychiatrists every Thursday, which would be documented, and that was supposed to suffice for my AANA visits. It was Bill Olendike of Red River Counseling in Madisonville, Louisiana. I paid $125 per week for those visits. He's right by Chifunction Cafe, same street. And I saw him every Thursday, unless it was a Thursday that he was not able to visit with me. And that would cover me for as my AANA visits. But all of my documentation as far as my visits, I never missed a visit as far as I know about, most definitely. I held my job. If that was a non-payment, I was still making payments when they told me I didn't have to pay. I still made payments on my parole because my whole intention was to do my parole. I never did anything to violate my parole, except this arrest I know puts the parole hold on me. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Do my colleagues have any questions?
No.
Mr. Tillman?
Well, he's been incarcerated since 2021.
It's in the jury trial for ag rape.
So he's asking to be released until this trial.
And, oh, one more thing, my case will be, my case definitely will be determined in December. That's my jury trial date. That's after 6 months of no court appearances. And, I've already talked to my lawyers, everything, and that's why I deferred from the beginning, first of all, because I knew that I hadn't did anything as far as I knew to violate my parole. I had never left my address. An officer never came to my address and was able to ever say that they couldn't find Arthur White or not be able to contact me. And everything will be over in December, as far as I know. That's why I deferred.
Okay. So I have, the first vote. Mr. White,
Yes, ma'am.
based on the preponderance of evidence for your jury trial coming forward, my vote is going to be revoked. You have, there's plethora of information in my file regarding this, crime, and my vote is to revoke based on that. Mr. Tillis?
My vote is also going to be to revoke due to the evidence that we have.
Ms. Jacobson?
My vote is going to be revoke, based upon the evidence evident by your arrest.
You're actually finding me guilty of a crime that I've been charged with. That's what you're saying.
We have voted to revoke your parole based on the preponderance of evidence that a crime was committed. We don't have the same standard as a jury, okay? So that concludes your hearing, sir. It's 9:33. Morning. You're on mute. This is the Louisiana Committee on Parole. On my left is Mr. Tillis. To my right is Ms. Stapleton. I'm Ms. Ledoux. Sir, would you state your name and your DOC number for the record?
Brandon Christopher Williams. My DOC number is 564-294.
Mr. Williams, you're before this panel today for allegations that you have violated your conditions of parole. And we're going to get into that in a minute. But before we do, I want to ask, do you have a parole revocation questionnaire in front of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your answers to that questionnaire indicate that you are not eligible for appointed counsel. Did you hire an attorney for today?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Williams, we're going to ask Ms. Stapleton to read out the violations against you, and you'll answer with a plea of guilty, not guilty, or guilty with the statement, and then we can discuss those, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good morning, sir. I have that you are in rule violation of number 4. You failed to refrain from criminal activity as evidenced by your arrest on August 3rd, 2025 by St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Office for resisting an officer and battery of a police officer. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
Okay. And you wanted to make a statement over that, sir?
Yes.
1 second, but it's with a statement though. Okay. Hang on. And you failed to pay your supervision fee, and currently you're in arrears of $1,325, having never made a payment.
Yes, ma'am. I'm guilty of that one.
Okay. All right. All right. We can go back to number 4. You're going to explain your arrest, resisting an officer and battery on a police officer.
All right. On the evening, well, it was the morning of August 3rd. I was at my friend's house well, that's who I was staying with. I was staying the night, but her and her daughter and I were having problems. And while her and I were sleeping, her daughter got mad, barged in the room, started yelling. So I decided to leave the house and go to a friend's down the street. On the way there, I realized I left the gate key to his neighborhood at her house. So we turned around to go back. And upon getting there, the sheriff's office was there. And they asked my friend if I had permission to be there because they were told that I didn't, but that was actually my place of residence at the time. And my friend, it was her house. She told the cops that I did have permission to be there. I was there with her. I was in her car with them. And at that point, there was no charges, no crime. It was just a disturbance because her daughter had some kind of issue with me because she found out that I am on parole. And at that point, the cop started questioning me. I gave her my name, my birth date, my social security number. And I asked her if I was being arrested, charged with a crime, or suspected of a crime, or if there was any crime at all. And she said no. And I put my hands on the dashboard, and she said that she needed to ask me questions. And I asked why, because if I'm not being arrested or charged with anything, I shouldn't be being harassed. And then at that point, she started yelling to get out the car, and they put tasers up against me. And I had stated that I hoped that the body cam was on because they had no grounds to be putting the taser against me. And at that point, she stepped away with her partner, and they began talking, and I reached to grab the passenger door to pull it closed. And then she lunged at the door, and then they ripped me out of the car and charged me with battery on a police officer and resisting arrest. And that's what happened.
Okay, and I have the police report, and I did watch the video.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so she did ask you the questions, and you were belligerent about all of that from the beginning. You didn't just easily give your name. You didn't just easily give her the information.
Yes, ma'am.
Belligerent, and that's what it has in the report, that you were belligerent. and they observed signs of impairment, slurred speech, watery eyes, and an odor of unknown alcoholic beverages emanating from your person. Had you been drinking? Were you drunk at that time?
I had drank earlier that day, but I was not drinking. I was asleep prior to this.
Okay, you were asleep and then you went down the road and you realized your gate key was left and you went back. So you should have been well awake by that time
I
to
mean,
do all of that.
it was all about 3 or 4 minutes. Where I was going was, I was on 1088 and I was going about 2 miles away on 1088 when I realized the gate key was gone.
Mhm. All right. And the police had just been there.
Well, her daughter had called them because she has an issue with me.
Okay. All right. And so, yes, what the officer says is, and I did see that you were asked to get out of the vehicle. You wouldn't get out of the vehicle. And that's what brought about the fact that you were going to be tased. You still wouldn't get out of the vehicle.
I didn't understand why I needed to, that's all.
You know, a lot of times when the police say do it, it's okay. Yes, sir.
I feel that way now, 100%. I could have just made a complaint afterward or something like that.
Right. And then you'd have had, because you asked them, is the body cam on? And the answer was yes. And it was on. So you didn't do what you were asked to do. And a lot of times that's compliance. And so, yeah, you went to go close the door because you were asked to get out of the vehicle. You went to go close the door. So that was the opposite of what you were asked to do.
Well, I did that because the tasers, because I have tachycardia, and a taser's not exactly
Well,
good.
that's
I understand. I should have just
out of the vehicle. Please don't tase me. I have tachycardia. So,
definitely
so you
could
did
have
not.
handled it differently. Absolutely.
I understand. Okay, so you did not comply. So everything that they say is true. You didn't
I
comply.
didn't batter a
And so you went to close the door. When you went to close the door, the deputy was in the door and you did hit her with the door. Oh, yeah. I mean, you did do that.
I did. My only intention was to shut the door, to put the door between me and them.
But that wasn't what you were told to do. So you did not comply. You did resist arrest. And you made it an arrest because you didn't comply. That's all my questions.
Mr. Williams, are you a fifth felony offender?
Yes, ma'am.
You signed the conditions of parole.
Yes, ma'am.
You understand they have the right to investigate anything, okay? There's no excuse.
I have court for this on October 14th as well.
Mr. Tillis.
I have no questions.
And I do have one more. I skipped over this. It says you have never made a payment for your supervision fees.
Struggle. I was staying in Mandeville with a friend because I'd recently lost my vehicle, my job, my apartment, my storage unit, pretty much all my belongings in my apartment. You know, between just trying to live and help my 18-year-old daughter out and my 9-year-old daughter, it's been.
But I have here that you say that you had been employed doing odd jobs in construction and you reported your income to be $600 a week.
Roughly between $400 and $600 a week.
So why didn't you during that time make your payments, supervision
Paying
payments?
rent, paying my insurance was $400.
Everybody's got that.
I know, but mine is higher because of my past DWIs. My insurance is like $400 a month for liability. My rent was $1,200 a month for a 600 square foot apartment. The breathalyzer in my truck.
Okay.
Food.
All right.
And
So you
I
were saying you were
had a $50,000 fine I was paying on in Jefferson Parish as well.
Okay, well, thank you. I just wanted an explanation for that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
If the panel's prepared to vote, I have no questions.
I am.
Not mistaken, General Becker.
Okay, based upon your criminal activity as evidenced by your arrest on August the 3rd, resisting an officer and battery on the police officer, I find you in violation of number 4 and of number 10, that you are in arrears of $1,325 on your supervision fees. So that's 4 and 10, violation, revocation. Revocation, both.
And Mr. Tiller.
My vote is to revoke rule number 4.
My vote is to revoke for noncompliance with your supervision. So today you have been revoked, and I believe that concludes our business at St. Tammany. Thank you very much. It's 9:53 and we'll be signing off. So would you please sit back in your chair because we can't see you very well. I'm sure we'll be able to hear you. Wow. Stand up. That's better. Just stand right there. Right there. Sir, this is the Louisiana Committee on Parole. On my left is Mr. Tillis. To my right is Ms. Stapleton. I'm Ms. Ledoux. We're at the Jefferson Davis Correctional Center. And I'd like for you to introduce yourself with your name and your DOC number.
My name is CAMERSON STUTES, DOC 624040.
Okay. Mr. Stutes, you're before this panel today because of allegations that you have violated your parole. Do you have a parole revocation questionnaire that you've signed? Do you have a copy of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you see your name. You signed. That indicates that you are not eligible for appointed counsel. Did you hire an attorney for today?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Stutes, I'm going to read some allegations into the record, and you're going to, it's only one, and you're going to give me a plea of guilty, not guilty, or guilty with a statement. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You engaged in criminal activity of domestic abuse battery, which resulted in your arrest on 5/30/2025. On 8/4/2025, the charges were dismissed by the district attorney's office due to the victim signing an affidavit of non-prosecution. How do you plead?
Guilty with a statement.
Okay. You can make that statement now if you'd like.
Yes, ma'am. I don't know if she had joined, but my fiance was supposed to join on the Zoom with me.
Yes.
And
we'll talk to her in just a minute.
yes, ma'am. And I didn't push her. She was trying to walk away from me, and I was running up to her to try to catch up with her, and I was trying to grab her. But I'm gonna be honest, I was using drugs, and I've been up too long. So when I tried to catch her, my judgment was wrong, and I guess I bumped her too hard, and she fell to the ground.
That's consistent with what you said in the preliminary. Ms. Laura Harris is joining us via Zoom. At this time, would you like to make a statement, Ms. Harris?
Her phone is unavailable.
Okay, it appears that she's not on and her phone is unavailable at the moment. Mr. Stutes, there was a witness that saw what happened, and there was video footage of what happened. So you were on drugs, and did you talk to your probation and parole officer about assisting you with getting some treatment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Have you attended the Steve Hoyle Intensive Substance Abuse Program?
Yes, ma'am. Last time I was incarcerated.
You are a 5th felony offender. So you know the rules. You've already had one sanction while you have been incarcerated this time, on parole this time. And it looks like you've had 3 failed probations in the past. Have you ever successfully completed a period of supervision?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Laura has not joined us? Okay. So do either of my colleagues have any questions?
I have no questions.
I was just gonna say that, the video shows, and also there was a witness verbally saw, he was present at the time, that you ran behind her full speed and pushed her down. So there's a video showing that. And then there was a witness that yelled from across the street and told you to stop because he witnessed it. So your statement of it was just an accident and stuff is not true as far as the video goes and eyewitness testimony.
Mr. Stutes, my vote today is going to be to revoke you. You know, I feel for your situation, but when you're on probation, you can have no criminal behavior. Whether it was prosecuted or not, we have evidence that okay, so Ms. Stapleton, would you like to vote?
You know, I vote to revoke also because of your criminal activity involving domestic battery. And I hope that you get into a DDoC program while you're in DOC because you definitely need it.
My vote also is to revoke for violation number 4.
That concludes our business at Jefferson
Oh, you
Davis.
gonna get me, man. I'm done. I don't need to talk to y'all no more. Y'all say
Good morning. Good morning. The Louisiana Committee Parole is impaneled here in Baton Rouge at headquarters. On the panel today, to my left is Mr. Tillis, to my right is Ms. Stapleton and Ms. Ledoux. We are at David Wade Correctional Center. Warden, would you introduce yourself?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Michelle Dozot, Warden. Brenda Ackland, Deputy Warden. Hannah Ralston, Classification.
Great, thank you. Okay. Thank you. Sorry to cut you off. When I can't see you, I don't know who else is going to be speaking. So, would the offender please introduce yourself with your name and your DOC number?
Kevin Deubler, 282626.
Okay, Mr. Deubler, you're before this panel today for parole consideration. I'm going to read some information into the record. You are a third-class offender, currently serving a 20-year sentence for habitual cruelty to the infirm. This is a rehearing for you. You had a parole eligibility date, May 20, 2019. You have a good time date, May 25th, 2033, and a full term date of May 30th or 20th, 2034. We're going to ask you a standard question, if you will. We want to hear why you are currently incarcerated and why do you think that we should consider an early release today?
I really feel that I've changed for the positive, and I've gotten over my problems from the tools of the structure here, the classes I've taken, and just a constant remorse and feelings of the life I led before coming to David Wade. And I feel I've made a total turnaround in my behavior and thought patterns and everything from the incarceration here and the classes and such that I've taken and learned about my problems. I feel that I'm ready to go out there and start my life over as a totally different person.
Glad to hear that, but you did not address the first question, and that is why.
I'm sorry.
Incarcerated.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because of the crimes I have committed in the past and the total behavior patterns I had, abuses, and just disregard for any consequences in life, just the way I led my life. Totally different than.
Again, why are you here? What are your crimes?
I was convicted of cruelty to the infirm, which was a domestic battery charge on my elderly mother. And then I was multi-billed for my past convictions, crimes. I had aggravated criminal damage charge and an illegal firearm charge.
Okay.
That I had served my time for. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure.
Yes, ma'am.
You came before the panel in 2018 and 2024.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to ask Ms. Stapleton if she will ask you some questions.
Okay, did you want Mr. Myers to speak first?
No, I want to go ahead and just
Oh, okay. All right, so I hear what you said about what you were there for, and at first you were extremely vague about that. What specifically? Your mother's age was, if I'm correct, 84 at the time, and your age was 55 at the time?
Yes, ma'am. Just bad relationship as far as the stress of I was the caretaker, and she was going through dementia and Alzheimer's and just bad communication and arguments on a daily, mostly my fault, being selfish and not understanding or able to deal with the mood swings we both would have. I was unmedicated at the time, for my bipolar disorder, which probably contributed a lot to my sporadic anger and issues, you know.
Okay, knowing all of that, you did not maybe seek to put your mother in a nursing home or something like that?
No, I was kind of, I felt that I could do a better job. And my two other siblings, they were afraid after my father had passed. They were really against that too. They were asking that whatever it takes to please just take care of her from going to that end, you know. And my sister would you know, come by and help. And that was our goal. I didn't realize that I was totally out of control or I was in denial or whatever at the time. That was our original goal or plan, you know, to just take care of mom to the end at home, at her home, you know.
All right, the synopsis of the arrest report that brought you with the cruelty to infirm charge
Yes.
is what you say is extremely vague as to the seriousness of what the law enforcement saw when they got there. There was a point where it says that you walked into her bedroom and displayed a knife to her saying, look how sharp it is. I might use it on you tonight. Then it says you struck her in the head with a small baseball bat and struck her also repeatedly on the arms and right leg as she attempted to distance herself from you, and that you later grabbed her by the shirt with both hands and strangled her until she was unable to breathe. The law enforcement officers said that she sustained severe bruising on her chin, right eye, arm, hands, chest, and legs. She showed signs of strangulation via the bruising around her neck. The bruises were mostly dark purple to black in color and were varied stages of healing. Miss Deubler's right hand was black in color and possibly broken. They said that the night that they went there, that you had attempted to barricade yourself in the residence for them to get you, you know, to take you into custody. The officers was able to make entrance through the front door of the residence. You were arrested. A stay away order was issued against you, and the Louisiana victim registration form was completed by your mother. That's pretty doggone serious. You nearly
Yes,
killed her.
ma'am.
So
Yes,
how
ma'am.
many times did you, I mean, you said that your mother and you didn't agree on things. She had varying stages of bruises. It sounds like this was a continued issue with you, that if, you know, with dementia, they do get confused. With Alzheimer's, they get confused. And it is a very difficult disease to deal with on a daily basis. So it sounds almost, I mean, you must have hit her a lot whenever it didn't suit your purpose.
Yes, ma'am.
So this was an ongoing beating.
Yes, but not like, it sounds like completely repetitive. She had a lot of slips and falls and things like that that contributed. But yes, it wasn't a one-time deal.
Yes. Okay.
We would argue, yeah.
In incarceration, have you had any major fights or anything like that since you've been incarcerated?
None whatsoever.
Okay, Warden, would you like to speak to his behavior while he's been, you have some information, I'm sure, to share.
Yes, ma'am. As far as his behavior goes, he does not have any rule violation reports. He has completed reentry. He's been working in the kitchen since 2018 in the same capacity, so he's got some a good work history. In regards to his mental health, I do think, from what I'm understanding, he is compliant with his medication. I will say, just knowing Kevin as long as I have, he does still have some issues when he has some manic episodes, gets excited a little bit, but I think the medication is helping. He plans to do some electrician work when if he's able to be released. And as of right now, does not have a valid residence plan.
Okay, so what motivates you to continue to improve, Kevin?
When I think back of my past mistakes, and then there are some people here that I'm in touch with that have control of their life, and we can relate to, focusing, staying away from triggers and other, we feed off of each other to keep ourselves sane, not being so like switching back to violent feelings or negative thoughts, and just my growth in general. I've aged in a more positive way here at David Wade that I don't think I'll have any worries. I don't plan on going back to New Orleans to have any type of involvement that could tempt me into my, history of abusive living or anything like that. I'm going to totally just change everything about myself and stay focused like I am now, stay on my medication and just improve, join a church support group or whatever that'll keep me in positive light like I am now and have been.
Your medication, were you to be released, how do you plan to be able to stay medicated and to manage the risks that we're just talking about? Because just like the warden was saying, you're in a very confined environment and really a safe environment, but yet you still are going into manic episodes. So if you were out on the streets and went into a manic episode, you might not would take your medicine, or it might lead to you not seeking further help. Have you thought about that?
Yes, I am going to immediately establish a doctor and, get whatever advice, a support group or somewhere, and have regular visits and get, my prescription ongoing. I have income and means to do that. Plus I plan on being semi-retired to stay active. And, then my power of attorney has my inheritance and my retirement. I'll purchase a home, wherever I relocate to if I'm released. And yeah, I'll be fine with that. Have a personal physician, psychiatrist, or whatever it takes to keep me on regular therapy and prescriptive means, whatever it's going to take. Right now, the prescription deal is really working. The medicine David Wade has provided for me.
Yes.
It might not be 100%, but I'm sure start from there as soon as I, make contact with a psychiatrist, set me up on a good.
Which is what you recognize you would have to do, because that's a lifelong.
I have to.
I wanted to ask you something, in the warden also. You touched on he could have a career electrical. Does he have a certificate for that? Do you have
Yes, I was state licensed. My family owns a large electrical contracting firm, and that's what I've done all my life, and I'm educated in and all. Yes, ma'am. So
that would be a long goal for you. That would be a goal to have that kind of a job.
Oh yeah. I'll work till I die. I'm not an inactive person. It helps me a lot, and
It sounds as though you do not have family support. You were saying in the beginning your siblings wanted you to take care of your mother. I don't know why they see any evidence of abuse going on against your mother.
Yes, ma'am.
They still didn't step in. But now they don't. Do you have their support, because they're not here today to speak for you?
Yes, I could. I just I've heard through letters from other associates that know them, and then my power of attorney, he's in touch with them, like with the estate, and he said there isn't any bad feelings or anything like that. It's just we're not in contact.
Okay,
I really tried to, dissociate myself from anything in the past to rebuild myself and heal my own problems. It's
well,
been a struggle.
that's a very good idea. That's a very good idea. So I'm listening to your short-term and long-term goal post-release. You've been talking about that. And I think I have heard your remorse and insight and accountability, which at first you did not take accountability. Right? Like this was a one-time deal, and it wasn't a one-time deal. And the night
No.
showed up was brutal with
Yes, ma'am.
evidence of prior brutality.
Yeah.
So
I wish I could express I wish I could express myself deeper to you. All this, what I mean? It's hard to grasp and get over it real fast. But I wish you could get inside my head and then you'd really understand the deep feeling and sorrow that I truly have. Not a moment goes by every day that I'm like just cringing and dissatisfied with myself. And that's one drive that I'll never go back. I can't believe that person was me.
I understand. I do understand.
If you would know me or see me, like Miss Dozat says, I just do good all day, and I'm helping in any kind of way. You wouldn't even see that in me. You would think that's not you.
That's the way you feel like you're trying to make amends for what your past was.
I guess it is. It's just the good is finally coming to the top of something that I had and I really didn't express before.
All right. Well, thank you for your interview. I'm going to pass it to my colleague.
Thank you.
Mr. Tillis.
Mr. Kevin, how are you?
Fine, sir. Good morning.
How long have you been incarcerated?
11 years and some months.
I heard you say earlier in your interview that about some of your programs. Tell me about some of the programs you've taken and which ones influence you the most.
My first was the AANA 12-step program, and that kind of started clicking in my head some of the films and elder testimonies that I really had a problem. From New Orleans, it was just in my generation, it was just an accepted thing. It was okay to be functioning daily using substances and stuff. So that started really seating on me. And then when I finally got a chance to get in these classes like parenting, victims awareness was a big positive thing because it made me check myself of all the destruction that I've done without even taking accountability or being in denial. And it was always the other person's fault. That I didn't really do anything other than what they deserved. So that program was very influential in me. And then the reentry program was great. The main one that I remember is the rage and the anger management was so great here. And I was able to take both of them back to back instead of a waiting period. So it really had some knowledge that I gained that never even thought was out there. It was like being in the presence of a professional counselor one-on-one on us. We had a lot of homework to do on it and self participation in class. We would have to act out scenarios, and a lot of it hit home with me. And I was like, yeah, I did that, and there was so many different people with some real crazy off the wall stuff, but I was there, and it woke me up to really dig deeper and, disrespect myself more and more that, my past that I was, you know what I mean? I was living like that wasn't me, but it woke me back up. And then learned a whole lot about triggers and all in the drug classes and other addictive ones that I took. I didn't know what that was. And now that was really a lot to deal with. That was right on point with me, with triggering and keeping away from certain people and all, which I never did practice before. Thought I was strong enough. Oh, I can do this. I can do that, because nothing was really happening hurtful to me that I could see, when the whole time I was constantly elevating my level of unawareness and unaccountability by not being caught and incarcerated for my deeds, my crimes and other wrongs in my life. And it was really like a look into the past, like a documentary on myself. It was really great. I would take them all over again to refresh myself if I could.
I see.
Yeah, that was the main thing,
Thank you.
You're
We
welcome.
have Mr. Randall Myers, the ADA for Jefferson Parish, who joined us via Zoom. Mr. Myers, would you like to?
Good morning, Randall Myers, Assistant DA, Jefferson Parish. We remain opposed at this time to Mr. Deubler's request. There's a couple things, number one, when he was asked about the crime, seems like he continued to sidestep it until Ms. Ledoux, had to really pull it out of him. But one thing he said during that, after he started talking about the crime, concerns me a lot. And you look at that with what he said about the programs that really helped him. And he said anger management and Cage Your Rage and victim awareness were all programs that really did a lot for him and taught him a lot. But when you go back to what he said in describing the crimes, it was mostly my fault. No, it was all his fault. His mother had nothing to do with getting beat like she was beaten by Mr. Deubler. And anyone who could do that to their mother is, I think needs to be incarcerated for a long period of time. He was sentenced to 20 years in 2017. According to Mr. Deubler, he's only served 11 of those years, so just over half of the term. And as the warden said, he still has manic episodes while in jail, even though he's on some medication. That's very concerning to me, that if he were to get out and have some manic episodes, that he could then go back and commit some violent crimes against some individuals. And when you look at his criminal record, it's very telling. He's had long histories of abuse, both with substance abuse. I think he was 4 DWIs on his record. He's had weapon charges, intimidating witnesses, aggravated batteries, cruelty. Well, this one is the cruelty to the infirm, aggravated assault. So for those reasons, and no residence plan, those reasons we're opposed to his request for parole.
Okay, thank you very much.
Ms. Ledoux, may I add something, if please?
Absolutely.
So I'm glad to hear that he's taken some accountability in here. We did have a conversation prior to the hearing in regards to his history of treatment and the reason he's in here. And there was a little bit of a different tone in that conversation in regards to the severity of the incidents. And so I do notice that he doesn't have Thinking for a Change as one of his program completions. I think that program helps a lot with, just your cognitive behavioral and your problem solving and different things. I do think that would be beneficial for him if that's something that would be considered. We could, get him in that program.
Absolutely. I think that's one of my favorite rehabilitative programs as well. I believe we've covered everything necessary to make a decision. Ms. Stapleton, if you'll vote first.
Yes, sir, Mr. Deubler. I listened to everything you say, obviously, and we had a very telling question and answer period here, interview period. You have a very violent history, and I agree with the DA that the things that you did with your mother was very cruel. You've made progress. You've taken some good classes, and you're on medication now, but you're in a secure environment where somebody can see it and do something about it. On the outside, you won't have that. You have only served 11 years of the 20 years. 20 years for what happened to your mother, and you're a habitual offender. You have an extensive criminal history that includes some acts of violence. I think the 20-year sentence really is a fair sentence. So 11 years of that is not enough. So for today, I'm going to vote to deny your parole based upon your extensive criminal history, the violence of the crime to the elderly. I'm going to suggest that you do take thinking for a change.
I did complete it.
Well, it's not on here. No, it's not on here. And you might benefit from being able to go back.
Mr. Schiller?
My vote also is to deny due to not enough time served and law enforcement opposition. And I think you're doing well, and you're really eager, seem to do better and better yourself. I hope you continue.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
My vote is also to deny parole. I think to do anything else would deprecate the severity of the crime, and the victim would be not remembered correctly. So today, based on a unanimous vote, your parole has been denied. Thank you.
You're welcome.
When did you take that class?
I finished
Okay, thank you. The Louisiana Committee on Parole is impaneled in Baton Rouge at headquarters. On my left is Mr. Tillis. To my right is Ms. Stapleton and Ms. Ledoux. Would the offender please state your name and your DOC number for the record?
Sabario Foster, 581496.
Mr. Foster, you're before this panel today as a third felony offender. You're currently serving a 10-year sentence for habitual negligent homicide. You have been afforded a hearing previously, April of last year. So you had a parole eligibility date of April of 2024. You have a good time date of 10/11/2030 and a full term date 10/6/2031. Does that sound correct according to your understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We're going to ask a standard question of why you find yourself before us today. What was the situation that brought you here? And why we should consider early release at this time.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, I'm here because on September 2019, I was in a car accident. Well, someone passed. And I'm here today because I feel like since I've been incarcerated, I have self-taught, self-rehabilitated, and self-educated myself. And I'm here showing grace, remorse, and take full accountability for my actions on September of 2019. And I'm here to ask for a second chance.
Gordon, what would you want to communicate to this panel?
So inmate Foster has not had any rule violations since he's been here. It's my understanding that at his last hearing, it was recommended that he receive intensive substance abuse treatment, which he has. He's completed the Steve Hoyle intensive substance abuse program since then. He's completed reentry. He has a certificate for a culinary certificate. So he has received a trade and a marketable skill set. He's also completed Thinking for a Change victim awareness, understanding and reducing anger, anger management, living in balance, and he's currently active in AANA. He has a good work evaluation. He's currently has a sports injury, so he's not working right now. He's going back and forth to physical therapy, but he does, he's very respectful, not any behavioral problems here whatsoever. He does have a employment plan. He has a job lined up if released with a trucking company out of Coshada. And he will be living with his spouse. So he does have a verified residence plan. He has family support and seems to really have a good solid plan in place.
Gordon, could you verify how many years has he served of his 10-year sentence?
Let's see, since 2022, since 2022.
Over 3 years.
3 years on his 10-year sentence.
Yes, ma'am.
I hope Mr. Tillis will explore how you describe what happened. Mr. Tillis, would you like to ask some questions? Then we'll get to your supporters in just a moment. You do have several people here on your behalf, and we will allow them to speak. In fact, you want to go ahead and let them speak?
Yeah,
let's do that. You have your mother, Miss LaWanda Finney. Is she behind you? Mom's always. Okay. Would you just go ahead and let the panel know what you would like for us to hear about him?
As a mom, I would like for to ask for remorse for my son to be brought home today. I know what he did in September with the car wreck with the young lady. They were schoolmates and he knew her very well. Matter of fact, that same night was their class reunion. I'm asking today for forgiveness and release of my son. I do know how it feels to lose a loved one. I have lost two children myself in the process. And I'm asking today that you all send Sabario home. He was convicted as a habitual for some of the petty crimes that he had done, but this was a major crime. And I believe that Sabario has learned his lesson from this as being a drinker and driving at a high speed. I'm also here to support Sabario and have been supporting Sabario from day one when the accident occurred. So I'm here today just asking you all to take into consideration to send Sabario home.
Thank you very much. We also have Terrence Wynn, who is with the program via Zoom, who would like to speak. Terrence?
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity. We asking for Sabario's release because remorse doesn't have a face, but remorse is shown through changing your ways. We can say we're sorry a million times, but if you don't change your actions, that's just a fruitless apology. But Sabario's actions have shown that he is really remorseful and he's really a changed person. He's came into prison and did an exceptional job by keeping his head in programs to reprogram him from the person that he was when he committed this crime in September of 2019. He's done everything he's supposed to do in memory of the victim so that he could be a better person once released back into society. He has the support he needs to keep him on a straight path. And so we just beg of you to release him today. Thank y'all.
Thank you. For the record, we also have two other members of your family in support, Tammy Lewis, your aunt, and Felicia Lewis, your wife. At this time, Mr. Tillis, would you like to?
Sure. Good morning, Mr. Foster. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Tillis.
I went through your case. I went through it. I read almost several times, almost twice, and the questions I wanted to ask, I think you've answered them. I see that you've been taking some other classes while you're there. Which ones impact you the most?
Thinking for a change.
Tell me about it. What did you learn in there?
And thinking for a change, I learned that if you just take 1 second to just think before you do, and things can be different. Like on the night of the accident, I actually didn't have any alcohol in the car, but by it being my birthday, I drank a couple of beers and took a couple of shots with my aunties and my grandma, and they didn't ask me. They was like, somebody want to go to the liquor store, and I was like, I'll go. And if I had just took a chance to think at that moment, this wouldn't be occurring right now.
Were you under the influence of alcohol when you went?
Yes, sir. I had drunk a couple beers and took a couple shots.
And how fast were you driving?
Probably about 100 miles per hour. That was because, like, as I'm in the car with me and my uncle, we jamming the music, listening to the music, and like that moment, I hadn't realized I had got up to that rate of speed, trying to get back to my.
Get back. I have questions. I have no more questions.
Mr. Foster, I think it would be remiss if I didn't point out some of your history that really concerns me, okay?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I know that people change, but let me note for the record that since 2007, you have had 24 stops by law enforcement. Only in 2013 was the only year that you were not arrested. You were not stopped. There's nothing in 2013. You're not 18. Even without thinking for change, doesn't that indicate some kind of pattern?
Yes, ma'am. But
Does.
as I got a little older, I became more mature. So I started.
We had two stops in 17, one in 18, and then 2 in 19. So that became less because in 11 you had 3, and in 14 you had 3. Your wife would like to speak, and I would like to hear from her. If Ms. Lewis, would you like to address the panel? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning to the parole board. I did write this down this time, so I won't overspeak. I just would like to thank you guys for the opportunity to speak. I do want to begin by acknowledging that a life was lost, and we know the weight of that loss will never go away. To the Pierre family, we do send our deepest condolences during this difficult time, and we continue to pray for your strength. My husband and I live with the understanding of that loss every day, and we do not take it lightly. After the accident in 2019, my husband did go to jail. He served, I think, about a year, and he was bonded out. During that bond, while my husband was home, he did make a decision that he wanted to live responsibly, and he never wanted anything like that to happen again. So he made it his choice and his decision to make better decisions. He went back to school. He obtained his CDL license. He obtained his job in the oil field where he's a truck driver. He did start from the bottom at this job, worked his way up where he was offered a management position before he was incarcerated. We've been married for 5 years. We purchased our first home together while he was out on bond, and we started our family together. So we do have 5 kids. We have 2 together. I had 2 before we married, and he has 1. And one of our kids, he has really haven't got to know her. I was pregnant when he went to jail, and she's 3 now. So he hasn't really got a chance to really know his daughter, and that's what really bothers him the most. That's one of his deepest wishes, is to be present so that he can get to know his baby and raise his kids with the values that he's worked so hard to obtain. Since my husband's incarceration, he has stayed on the same straight path that he's taken, that he was on before he came back to jail. He has taken every program and class that was offered to him. He's maintained a clean record. He doesn't have any write-ups, and he has followed every instruction given to him. If my husband is granted parole, he will return to a stable home, a supportive family, and the same strong work ethic he showed before sentencing. He does have his family support as well as our closest friends, and we are ready to support him in every way possible. And we believe that with our support, that he will continue building a responsible, stable, and a positive life. Thank you.
Thank you. That was very well spoken. And I do like that you named the victim and acknowledged the victim and family. Thank you. Are there any other questions by the panel? Any other information, Warden? If not, at this time,
I'd like to say something.
Okay.
Okay, there's a statement here from the district attorney's office think it deserves reading in the Caddo Sheriff's Office because they don't have a representative here. The Assistant District Attorney, the Caddo Parish District Attorney's Office opposes parole release for Mr. Foster based upon the facts of the case, the needless loss of life, and his criminal history. A review of Foster's criminal arrest and subsequent convictions reveals continued disregard for the law and public safety. Foster's latest conviction of negligent homicide for the death of Miss Pierre demonstrates the tragic consequences of his sustained lawless behavior. Acquiring at least 4 felonies to his name over a 10-year period, our office believes he is likely to reoffend if granted parole. Further, a grant of parole would depreciate the serious nature of this particular case. We oppose parole. The Caddo Sheriff's Office, after reviewing the case file, court minutes, and trial information, the Caddo Sheriff's Office opinion of the parole release request of Mr. Foster, and our opinion is that he should complete his entire sentence. Yes, I did want to make those statements on their behalf.
Yeah, very significant law enforcement opportunity. At this time, Mr. Tillis, if you would like to begin the voting.
Mr. Foster, it's really pleasing to see that you have no write-ups and you've been really trying to do better. I think I commend you on that. I really do. But due to the seriousness of this crime, a life was taken in opposition of law enforcement and not enough time served. I think my vote's going to be to deny today.
Ms. Stapleton.
I concur with Mr. Tillis. And the reason that I had in 2024 was not enough time served in the same reasons. But I do commend you on what you've done and how it appears that you are trying your best to turn your life around.
My vote is also to deny parole based on your criminal history. I think the facility there is an excellent facility for you to continue to do good, not lose focus. That's the biggest thing at this point. Not lose focus. You will have an opportunity right now. That concludes our business today at David Wade and for the entire day. So it is 11:03 and we will be signing off for the day. Thank you so much, William.
Thank you.